Hey everyone! In the last video about Chimera, the comment with E50M got most likes. Therefore, in this video you will see a guide on this tank. If you want to see a guide on your favorite tank, write its name in comments. Whose comment will get most likes, about that tank I'll make the next video. Well, let's go! The E50M, aka the Ramming Master, is a grinding German medium tank of the 10th tier. It is famous for its accurate gun, excellent mobility, and heavy mass. In fact, it's a well-balanced tank. It has no pronounced strengths or weaknesses. It has a good, but not super powerful gun. Pretty strong, but not imbalanced armor, and you need to know how to use it properly. And, despite the fact that it's a quite ordinary tank, there is something special about this tank, which can't be explained. So, let's talk about its pluses. First of all, it has a very comfortable gun. In terms of accuracy and stabilization, it is one of the best guns in the game. The accuracy is 0.29. The stabilization is so good, that you are almost always aiming. Pretty high damage per shot, which is 390. It's not the best figure, but compared to 320 and 360, it's definitely good. Also on the plus side is a good aiming time of 2 seconds, and not bad depression angle of 8 degrees. Also worth noting is the excellent armor penetration of basic and premium shells. Overall, in terms of shooting, it's really a very comfortable gun. The armor is A+ too. But we'll look at it a little later. Surprisingly, with such a large size and strong armor, E50M has excellent mobility. The top speed is 60 km per hour. The specific engine power is about 19 horses per ton. It cannot but rejoice. Plus, the German has mass of 62 tons. Combined with good mobility, it gives the opportunity to often effectively ram enemies. It is also important to note a lot of health points, as much as 2050. That's very good for a medium tank. Well, these were the pros. Now let's discuss its minuses. They are few. The first, and most important weakness of this tank, is pretty low damage per minute. It's only 2,540. It can be improved to a maximum of 3,250, if you use bond ventilation and bond gun rammer. It's not that it's horrible. Just it's one of the worst figures among all tier 10 medium tanks. The next disadvantage, is the large size. E50M is a really big tank. And it will not be difficult to hit you even from a long distance. Perhaps, that's all its disadvantages. View range of 400 meters I didn't attribute either to the pluses or minuses, because it is balanced. Now let's look in detail at the armor of this awesome German tank. The turret forehead has about 265 millimeters of armor. That's not very strong, but, at the same time, this part is small, and it's not always easily to hit. Basic shells are unlikely to be able to penetrate you, except for a tank destroyers. But enemies with premium shells will penetrate you every shot. However, the shells will often hit in the area near gun, and in the bevels on edge of the turret. Also, classically, there is a hatch. In short, this turret is not bad, but you can't use its armor confidently. The hull also has its own peculiarities. The upper part of the hull has armor of about 315 millimeters. At the same time, there is a huge vulnerability, in the form of the bottom. There is only a little more than 200 millimeters of armor. Even tier 8 tanks have no problem to penetrate it. It's very important to hide this vulnerability. Armor of the sides is 80 millimeters. That's not very much. But, with proper use, it can absorb any shells in the game. The main thing is to put your tank at the right angle. If you twist it a little bit, you can be penetrated. Overall, the hull armor is very good, but again, not imbalanced. You need to know how to use it properly. If you are an inexperienced player and play sloppy, this armor will not save you. Before we get to the gameplay, here's the recommended equipment build and crew skills. As for the field modification, I wouldn't pick anything. There is nothing worthwhile for medium tanks. Dear friends, don't forget to like or dislike this video, and write a comment. It would greatly help to promote this video in YouTube recommendations. Well, now let's figure out how to play this tank properly. As stated earlier, the E50M has excellent mobility and pretty strong armor. This means that first of all it is an assault tank, and it should be played actively. In this battle it is clearly demonstrated what to do on Mine's map. Thanks to good mobility, the player has taken a key position, namely the center of the map, which allowed him to easily shoot at the enemies. You may also have noticed how skillfully he uses the armor of this tank. He shows the hull's forehead at a steep angle, while hiding the side, so that enemies don't have a chance to penetrate it. But still I wouldn't recommend so bravely fighting the enemy's heavy tanks head to head. After all, the German armor is not that strong, and can let you down, especially the turret. Ideally, you should be slightly behind Allied heavy tanks, so that they lose their health points, and you, in turn, do damage. That is, play carefully, and wait for a good moment to move out and make a shot. Well, if the situation allows, you can play bolder, as the player demonstrates in this battle. It is worth nothing that you have a pretty high damage per shot, and more health points than other medium tanks. It means that sometimes you don't be afraid to exchange shots. Also don't forget that in terms of a ram, it's a very strong tank. Don't miss the opportunity to use ramming, especially against weakly armored tanks. But don't overestimate your capabilities and ram some mouse, E100, or IS-4. It will not be in your favor. In addition, thanks to excellent accuracy of the gun, E50M can play the role of a sniper in battle. But it's very important to understand that this is his secondary task, and it's worth to do only in certain situations. You don't need to stand at the base every battle and cosplay tank destroyer. If you like this kind of passive gameplay, the E50M is not for you. You're better to look at the Leopard 1, or any tank destroyer, like the Grill 15 or STR-V103B. Thus, the E50M is a versatile tank, with its features, advantages and disadvantages. It's a classic of World of Tanks, which everyone should try. Well, thank you for watching this video to the end. I hope you found it useful. It's time to say goodbye. Good luck to everyone. And remember, don't play World of Tanks.